All right, welcome back, everybody. Week 16 of NFL picks this week. The our records will be posted on Instagram. I'm going to try a new thing there. We're going to post our records on Instagram every week instead of talking about it on the show there. So make sure you look in our bio for the link to our Instagram. All right. Well, last week, weird week. Okay. I think both of us said, let's not even talk about the Jets. And I guess what? Not only did they win, but they messed up their number one overall pick.
I know.
So, crazy stuff there. Obviously, Steelers losing again to Cincinnati. I think another game we didn't really talk about.
I said Cincinnati wouldn't win all year.
Yeah. And
What do
look
you
at
know?
that. Look at that. They're actually, so there has to be some good like upside look, right? When you get your rookie quarterback back that was tearing it up prior. Obviously, they're going to have a really good pick still, a top 5 pick. So there's some good stuff looking at for the Bengals. Now, obviously, we've talked about it personally. I don't even think the Bengals should take a skill guy, in my opinion. I think
No,
you go O line,
line.
O line, because there's a reason why your rookie quarterback is out right now.
Yeah,
So
they need to go O line.
yeah, and so again, we'll get in more draft stuff when the time comes. But how about we just hop right into Week 16? So first one Friday. Um,
Friday game, Christmas game. I didn't know we had a Christmas game this week.
game. Well, I thought that was
This
a little
year.
strange not doing a Thursday game, giving them off Friday and then playing. But I don't make the schedules, so here we go. So Minnesota at New Orleans. I think New Orleans wants to kind of bounce back here, right? 2 losses. Last game, very good
I
game
mean, they
against.
played the Chiefs, so you can't be mad.
Exactly, but still, the loss to the Eagles kind of sucked a
Yeah,
little bit, especially the Eagles losing again last week here. Minnesota's kind of been disappointing me. I thought they can keep on scoring, scoring, scoring. Dalvin Cook still putting up a lot of numbers, but not that monster-esque type numbers. Justin Jefferson's cooled off just a tad. So, I think New Orleans gets back on track on this one. What do you think
yeah.
about
I have the Saints too. The Vikings, yeah. Cook, he keeps getting 100-yard games, but he's not being efficient. If that makes sense, like he's getting a lot of carries to get the inflated yardage number. So if you look, he's not as effective as you would like.
Yeah.
But that's not his fault. It's Kirk Cousins' fault. Kirk Cousins is not playing well. When you have Jefferson and Thielen, you know, they bail you out. They make you look better than you really are. And for most part, I think they have inflated Kirk Cousins this year. In fact, Kirk, I don't trust him, especially versus Saints defense, because they have 2 L's in a row, but they have a really good defense, and I really don't trust Cousins.
Yeah.
So I'm going Saints.
All right. So both of us go Saints there. All right, Saturday 1:00 game, kind of taking that spot of the college football there. Tampa
Yeah.
Bay at Detroit. Stafford, been playing injured, showing his toughness. Hopefully, either Detroit can get some guys around him, or he leaves Detroit pretty much because his whole career kind of been wasted. He was the young guy that was just known for throwing it up to Calvin Johnson. And then Calvin Johnson left, and it's kind of been his team since then. And it's tough when you don't have everybody around him. It wasn't too long ago where Reggie Bush was still in their backfield
Yeah.
trying to get stuff done. So obviously Swift's there, but I don't think it's enough. I think Tampa Bay comes out and just takes care of business because, again, going for those playoffs, right? They got to build something. Detroit playing for a little pride, and I don't think that's enough right now.
I agree, but the Bucks are a weird team. You would have thought last week they would have came out and destroyed Atlanta's secondary. It took till the second half for Tom Brady to say, "Hey, they stink. Let me throw for 390 yards or something." No, he threw in total 390. He threw for over 300 yards in the second half last week. We'll get to the Falcons later, but the Lions, they're not the worst team, which is good. They're not the worst team, but they're certainly just a little below average. And this late in the season, I don't expect them to win this game. But hey, you never know. It is the NFL.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to another Saturday game. It is at 4:30 here. San Francisco at Arizona, which is not a really far ride since San Francisco has been playing
They're
in
playing in
Arizona.
Arizona. It's a
So,
home and home.
uh, San Francisco, I was high on them not too long ago,
Yeah.
but it's kind of fallen off since.
Yeah.
Just haven't been doing enough. They haven't been playing horrible, but they haven't been doing enough to win. And Arizona, I don't know what to think of them. They're your classic, honestly, 8-8 team where they look really good, and
Yeah,
then
they
they
are.
look really good, then they lose. They're 8-6 right now. Can DeAndre Hopkins just keep on being the best receiver in the NFL? Literally just throwing it up to him and he's making plays. Almost killed me in fantasy last week. I think Arizona gets it done. And two, let's say they win the next two. Guess what? They're likely in. So we'll have to see on those numbers. They're still in. Um, so yeah, I'm going Arizona.
Talking about last week, I mean, I'll get to it, but Philadelphia, their secondary, they cannot guard your prototypical big number one receiver. Look what DK Metcalf did to them. Look what Hopkins did last week. They cannot guard those type of guys. They need to start double teaming. I'll get to Philadelphia, but I had the Cardinals winning. The 49ers, they've had so many injuries. Mostert's on the IR again.
Yeah.
They're not running the ball like they did last year. They made the Super Bowl. They ran the ball. They haven't been because Mostert's injured. Tevin Coleman was injured for a while. Jeff Wilson, I don't think he'd be on an NFL roster, honestly, besides the 40. For some reason, the 49ers have 5 running backs. Jerick McKinnon, JaMychal Hasty. I don't know. They just have a smorgasbord of below average guys and Raheem Mostert, who I think is above average, but he hasn't been healthy. Yeah. So that's why the 49ers haven't been playing well. Plus, obviously, injuries on defense doesn't help. The Cardinals, weird team. DeAndre Hopkins, look at his stats this year. 103 receptions already. He already has that. 1,324 yards. 6 touchdowns. Why only 6? I know he's probably getting double teamed in the end zone. And, one of those TDs is that Hail Mary. So if you take that away, he only has 5 touchdowns in 15 games? Yeah. I don't get that.
So, all right. Next up is Miami at Las Vegas there. I'm going to take Miami and Las Vegas. Another team that you just really don't know what team you're getting week in, week out. I'm going to go Miami. Miami's obviously big win last week. We talked about that. Miami kind of always gets that win against New England there. I'm going to say Miami gets it done again because, again, another team that's fighting for the playoffs. They have a little more something to play for. Las Vegas obviously has something to play for, but it's like, I don't know. I don't trust Las Vegas. I'm going to go Miami. Gaskin's back this week, and I don't even think he gets used as much as he's been being used because I think they've shown they got a lot of weapons right now. Hopefully Gesicki's back for him because he was starting to catch on. Tua is kind of finding him as one of his more favorite targets there. So, again, I'm going to go Miami, ride that defense, ride. Their weapons are starting to develop.
Exactly. Miami's got good young weapons. I always wondered why they didn't use Matt Breida from the start. He's the fastest guy other than Tyreek Hill in the NFL. Last week when he got the ball, he's so explosive. For some reason, they just used Gaskin as like an every down back. He's good, but I think Matt Breida should have been getting touches this entire time. So they have Breida, they have Lynn Bowden, the rookie. He's the converted running back, I think, or wide receiver. Lynn Bowden in college, I think he played at Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. But he's really good. And then you have Ahmed, and then Gesicki, man, he's gonna be a really good tight end in the future.
Yeah,
I think Tua and him.
I mean, obviously you and I follow him more for fantasy purposes, but he'll go out there and have a stinker of a 0 catch or 1 catch game, and then he'll go out and have 2 touchdowns. So it's like,
well, that was with Fitzpatrick. Tua, if you look at Gesicki the past few games with Tua, his numbers have been solid.
Yeah.
I do have the Dolphins winning though. Las Vegas. Weird team. We all know that. Darren Waller though, I will give a shout out. Balling. He's got 93 catches, I think, for 950 yards and like
Doing
8 touchdowns.
what I think Noah Fant could also do. Noah Fant,
Exactly.
sneaky, like fast, bigger
He
dude.
is. He's huge too.
He's just in a shitty offense with a quarterback that's kind of meh.
Oh yeah, Denver. We'll get to Denver. Oh,
So
they stink.
yeah. All right. Well, next up we have Cleveland at the Jets. I'm going to go Cleveland here. Okay, Jets. Guess what? They used up all their superpowers. It's over. No, I think the Jets are kind of like, well, crap. Honestly, they might play harder now because it's like, well, we don't have the number 1 pick anymore. Might as well, because whoever we're going to get at 2, we could have got at 3. And I think now they go that tackle.
Yeah,
So
they're not going to pick a QB.
I think Cleveland, big win against the Giants. And the game before they played a crazy game against Baltimore.
Ravens.
So, that was a great game. I think Cleveland is in the right step forward, and I think they want this win because let me see if I can see their record real quick.
They're 10 wins.
10 wins. I think someone was saying if they go 11-5, they could still possibly miss the playoffs depending on how things work, which is absurd that could possibly happen. But yeah, I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland too. Although the Jets, we make fun of them. Oh, sorry. The Jets have they should have 2 wins if we talk about that game versus Las Vegas.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Yeah, when they go man-to-man coverage in a last-second play, right? Dumb on that part of the field.
Sorry, I think Nick Chubb. My mom came in. That's why I kind of paused. Nick Chubb will run for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Chubb is top 3 running back.
Well, 100%. You can't. I mean, I think everybody's top 3 should have him on there if they have a brain there. So yeah, Cleveland. All right, Giants at Baltimore. I know these are your Giants, Brandon, and you could tell me if I'm wrong. I think the air has came out of the bubble there, and it sucks because they were rolling. And the thing that hurts them, and this could be a really good confidence thing for Daniel Jones, little spin zone on it, try to make it a positive thing. I think Daniel Jones being hurt really hurt the Giants. And again, I think that could be a thing for the fan base, the organization, and Daniel Jones. Wow, I really am this important to the success of the team. And guess what? I think you can do some really cool stuff next year when Saquon gets back, because obviously you already have a good running back there. And that's kind of a testament to the line. So could you do some things where now Saquon's a great route runner and catching out of the backfield? Can you do some things where you do some 2 running back stuff, motion Saquon out to the slot? Now it's Saquon versus a linebacker. I think this year helps. Kind of like some of these teams that lose a superstar and still have success. Well, now you find different ways to utilize all your pieces.
Exactly.
I think that's what the Giants could do here. And obviously this is coming from a Washington football fan, so I hate to see that. But I'm going to go Baltimore because, again, they're fighting playoffs, playing one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. Baltimore's going to keep on rolling here. Lamar's looking better. Mark Ingram, healthy scratch last game. You know why? Because Ohio State Buckeye J.K. Dobbins is a stud. All right.
He is.
Stud. Second round pick there. So yeah, I'm going to go Baltimore.
I'm going Ravens too. But what you said about the Giants, I don't see them winning this game. The crapshoot versus the Cowboys in week 17, you never know. But I don't think the Giants make the playoffs unless Washington loses out somehow, which, I mean, it is entirely possible because is Alex Smith healthy? But yeah, with the Giants, right now they have the 10th pick in the draft. I'm going to assume that they get around between the 8 to 10 range. At that range, remember, they were out Barkley this year. You get, an all-pro potential Hall of Fame talent back in your lineup. I mean, the O-line it's taken a year for them to get, comfortable and better. They've gotten better every game except the past couple weeks have been all right. But they have gotten better since Barkley's been there. So you give them a whole nother year. And, O-line, a lot of it is like chemistry with that. The more chemistry an O-line has, the better. Look at those Cowboys teams. Those 5 guys started for years, and they dominated. So these young guys that the Giants have on the O-line, they get better. They get Barkley back. if they have the 8th pick, their defense, the Giants' defense isn't the problem.
I think
Their offense is ranked 31st. So they already picked up Ingram's contract, and I think Shepard too, believe it or not. I think Tate walks. Slayton's good, but he's not a number 1 receiver. Let's say you get a Jamar Chase from LSU. You have Barkley. You have Jamar Chase. You have Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. You have an O-line, and Daniel Jones. I think that offense is good. Now, will Jason Garrett make the right play calls? We don't know. But I actually don't mind the Giants losing and having 6-7 wins this year.
All right, yeah, and two, before we get into the next game, I think the Giants, a good thing they can get. There's some other names out there that might slip a little bit, just because I think there's a lot of receivers in this draft. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay. Next, Colts at Pittsburgh. Oh, Pittsburgh. We're going to talk about. If you want to hear our rant on the Steelers, please watch episode 5 of Recliner Sports Talk. But I like what the Colts are doing. Again, they're just one of those teams that are playing clean football. Steelers dealing with some injuries, dealing with some losses. I don't think this is a team you can bounce back on. The Colts, all right, they're playing.
Oh no.
They're running the ball very effectively, and that's not great when the other team loses one of their best D linemen. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say Colts go in there with their veteran quarterback who has known for some upsets in the regular season, not the playoffs, and get it done. So I'm going to go Colts over Pittsburgh here.
I have the same thing. Here's the funny thing. Did the Steelers lose out? Did they lose 5 in a row?
It's a possibility that Cleveland cannot get in at 11-5, but I think that the Steelers are going to go 11-5 and not get in because they played Cleveland. I want to say
I think they clinched
the week after. So the Steelers, I don't know.
I don't know. How funny would it be if they lose out? Now,
Did they clinch yet?
I think they did. I really do. I think they own tiebreakers.
I wonder how that works. We'll have to see. Let me look up their
schedule. Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh all could have 11 wins.
So they're going to finish. They finish out with the Colts and the Browns. So not easy.
You know what?
They probably could make the playoffs, but
they'll make the playoffs, but they won't win.
If Cleveland wins out, they could be the division champs, and then Steelers have to go on the road.
Here's the thing: if Miami wins out, Miami stays.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. Again, you see how great our research is on that type of stuff right now. That will kind of be more set
next week. When you're 2 weeks out, so much can happen. Look, the Steelers lost to Cincinnati. Who would have thought that would happen? So it's kind of hard to play guessing game. That last week, though, we'll bring it up next week, all the playoff scenarios. But I do have Jonathan Taylor having a day. I don't care how good the Steelers' rush defense has been all year. Jonathan Taylor is very good. He's finally – I've been complaining since we started this show. Give Jonathan Taylor the ball. He's a beast. And what do you know? They've been giving him the ball, and they've been winning games.
Yeah,
Nyheim Hines is good. Nyheim Hines is good. He's a change of pace back, but he does not need to be getting 10 carries a game. Jonathan Taylor needs to get 20 to 22 carries a game and 3 receptions.
Hines is fine getting 10 carries a game because Jonathan Taylor is such a bruiser. He's not sitting there doing all these jukes. He's not sitting there out of the backfield, all these catches. He's going to run up the gut. And I think spreading out those carries for a guy like that is good. That's my opinion.
He's been receiving well, too. Jonathan Taylor he's a pretty good receiving back. Remember, his first game, he had 5 receptions for 56 yards. Now, Phillip Rivers loves the check down, so that also helps. He's not really catching – he's not catching Odell-type passes. He's catching dump offs, and he's running with it, which, it inflates his ability. But still, it looks good.
Yeah, we could have a debate about this, too. I think the Odell catch is one of the most overrated catches in NFL history there. But we can get into that another day.
It was a meaningless – it was a meaningless week 2 football game versus
any football
the Dallas Cowboys.
I watched 2 or 3 last week, better catches. So again, we can talk about that some other day. Okay, Cincinnati at Houston here. Now I always say it, Cincinnati. Guess what? You had the win of your season. Guess what you're gonna do now? You're going to get spanked by Houston. Houston, again, they have a lot of weapons out, but you still have Deshaun Watson. David Johnson had over 100 yards receiving last game, and they also had
he had a
8
good
carries.
game.
Hopefully in my fantasy championship, he can do the same thing this week. But again, I think the Cleveland letdown here is going to happen. And again, they're probably thinking, well, crap, we kind of want that big pick too. Now, again, it's hard to purposely lose in the NFL. I just think it's that classic. We had our big win. Now let's fall apart here in the next game. I think Houston gets it done.
Yeah, the Bengals, their O-line, we say it every week. Their O-line's brutal. Jonah Williams is out. Huh?
Defense is pretty good, though.
Yeah, they're not bad. And the receivers aren't bad.
No, not at all.
Gio Bernard, I mean, I didn't think he'd last as long in the NFL. He's probably in his 8th or 9th year. I cannot believe
to last.
I cannot believe out of UNC, little Gio Bernard is still in the NFL and playing at a high level. I give him credit. The Bengals, we talk about injuries. They've had injuries. They have 3 wins with all the injuries that they have had. I'll tip my cap. I think, Zach Taylor, I don't think he should get fired. I know his record over the past few years are bad, but they have no talent and they've had terrible injuries.
Here's my thing. Unless you know you're going to get someone, guess what? I know Joe Burrow's there, but there's going to be a lot better jobs open this offseason than the Bengals. So I think you're right. I think they should not fire him. I think they keep him. You ride it out. Hey, does he work? Does he not work? Let's see, because we're not winning this year or next year. So why don't we give it another year? So I think you're right about that.
They could win next year. They could if they get their pieces back and they draft well. Now they need to draft well. I think they need to go O-line. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Back, I think you're right. When you have Mixon as a running back, you have a good quarterback. Why don't you get an O-line? Because again, their defense is playing well.
Look at T. Higgins too. T. Higgins has played well at receiver.
Yes, he has been playing very well. All right, so next we got
I'm going Texas, by the way. I forgot to say my pick.
I figured based off the way we're talking.
Yeah.
Chicago at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, guess what? You're 2 games away. Trevor Lawrence, get the jerseys ready. Hey, maybe you can just ask the Jets fans to borrow their jerseys, okay? Because I saw a lot of Lawrence jerseys in that Jets.
They're sick.
I think Chicago gets it done. Chicago still barely alive, all right, gasping for air, but still alive. Big one last week against the Vikings. They're still in it. I think Chicago gets it done. Defense, shout out 302. Blau Nichols has been one of the highest ranked defensive players on that Chicago defense from Hodson High School and University of Delaware grad. So again, I'm going to say Chicago gets it done. Jacksonville, Minshew, you're going to be a great backup quarterback, bud. Starting quarterback in NFL won't be great, but guess what? You and Trevor Lawrence could have the best hair in a quarterback room.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the Bears winning. Their offense, where the hell was that from the start? Trubisky's playing out of his mind.
When you David Montgomery throw it 50 times a game, it works pretty well, right? He's sitting around that 20 to 25 range with a lot of runs. Montgomery, guess what happens when you can efficiently throw passes for 20 passes a game? It opens up your run game, so now there's less pressure on Trubisky there.
Yeah, Montgomery's playing out of his mind, and Allen Robinson's one of the top 10 receivers in the league. I can't believe Chicago is 7-7 after that start, though. I mean, what? They won 5 games right away, and now
they're gonna have 3 parts of their season: how good they were, how bad they were, and the resurgence.
And now they're good again. If they make the playoffs, does Allen Robinson stay? I don't know.
I think he stays right now.
I think he leaves.
It's gonna be who's willing to pay him. I mean, that's what it's going to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's very good. And for some reason, I think he's so old. I'm pretty sure he's like 27, 28.
Yeah. So still,
he's not old at all.
All right. Atlanta at Kansas City. Kansas City seems to play down to their teams. And Atlanta's going to score. And I hope they do. I have their kicker in fantasy. But they're going to score. But I think that opens up for Kansas City to then also score. You know what I mean? Their defense stinks. And when you play the best offense in the league, It's kind of tough to play the worst defense in the league. Again, they're not the worst, but they haven't been playing great. I think this is hitting the over. Okay, this
Oh
game
yeah.
hit the over. I think Mahomes gets it done. He had a very quiet 300 yards passing last game, 3 touchdowns. I don't know if you saw that pass he had in the back corner of the end zone while rolling out to Harmon or what's his name, Hardman.
Hardman, yeah,
Yeah,
Miko Hardman.
uh,
That was perfect throw. You can't
I
get
mean,
any
that's
better.
just what he does. He was extending plays very well with some of the best defensive linemen in the game chasing
Oh
him.
yeah.
So I'm going to go Kansas City here. Although Atlanta, who knows what they're going to look like? They're like if all their guys were 5 years younger, you'd be like, oh my gosh, watch out. But the thing is, they're all vets. So
Well, Calvin Ridley's not very old.
no, but other than that, you got Gurley, Matt Ryan, Julio.
Oh yeah, they'd have the all 2017 team.
Yeah,
Too bad it's 2020.
yeah.
And that's the crazy thing about the NFL. Usually in the NBA, 3 years, goes down the line. Well, I mean, Golden State, they've collapsed too. But for the most part, 3 years, usually teams are about the same. Atlanta, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Ever since they made the Super Bowl and they blew that downhill. Same thing with Carolina. I can't believe both those teams made the Super Bowl and they've all gone downhill. But Kansas City, I'll say it again, I will never bet against Kansas City. I'm going to think they win every single week. I think Mahomes throws for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns, big game. I want Atlanta to score. Fantasy championships this week. I'm in it. I have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes and Harris Butker in my dynasty league. I want Atlanta and Calvin Ridley, honestly. I just want a huge scoring day. That's all I ask. I want it to be 35-24 Kansas City win.
All right. Hey, I am down with that because I'm also my championship and I have Young Ho Koo and Patrick Mahomes. So I hope that's a high scoring game. I honestly hope Atlanta stalls out a bunch. He kicks a bunch of field goals like he usually does. All right. Denver at the Chargers. I'm going to say Denver here because of the defense. And
What
another thing, I
defense?
know we keep on talking about our fantasy teams. Nobody cares. Keenan Allen.
Defense?
Come on.
Buffalo destroyed them last week.
Hold on.
Defense.
You're talking about one of the best teams in the NFL with the MVP type
They
quarterback
gave up
and the best
40 plus.
Anyway, I think this is a game Denver does win. I think Noah Fant has a big game. He's going to be sitting on my bench, but he's going to have a big game. Jerry Jeudy, I think this is what Locke does, though, right? He goes and he has a stinker, and then he comes out and he throws for a bunch of yards. Then he has a stinker. So he had a stinker. Boom. Here's the big yardage game. Noah Fant had a big game last game, too. I do like their defense. I think their coach is going to pick up very quickly as a defensive coordinator because he's going to get fired, just the way it's going to work. And the Chargers, killing me. I don't know what to think of you. Keenan Allen, I started you. You almost screwed me last week. Thank God Pittsburgh sucked because that's what saved me. So again, Chargers, I don't know what you got there. I'm going to go Denver because I like the defense.
I think Denver's defense is bad after last week's showing. The Chargers, believe it or not, that Thursday night game last week, very underrated game. I stayed up, on a work night. I stayed up till about midnight watching that game. Man, the Chargers, that was a really good game. Herbert looks good. He's been having the issue of when Eckler's back, he isn't throwing the ball down the field. Well, guess what? Eckler's back and he still threw it down the field. Guess what happened? The Chargers won the game. They should have been doing that the entire season. Yeah, the Broncos, Drew Lock, I believe he's the 31st best starting quarterback. I think he's so bad. I don't like Drew Lock at all. I didn't like him in Missouri. You'd never take a Missouri quarterback.
You weren't watching Missouri games.
I was. Believe me, he stunk in Missouri.
He stunk so bad he got drafted and he's in the NFL.
Yeah, and guess what? He doesn't.
Bad.
Look who John Elway has drafted at the quarterback position in the NFL. Just because you get drafted by the Broncos doesn't mean shit.
Hey, listen, Brandon. We could say Tennessee sucks every year. Look at all their good pros.
They
Look at
do
all their
suck every
pros.
year.
So
I
your
know.
logic's bad
Kamara,
about
you
that.
know how bad Tennessee stinks? They didn't even start Alvin Kamara. They stink. Terrible, terrible, terrible
Again, your
school.
Missouri take, that's a bad take, in my opinion. Bad take. All right. Carolina at Washington. Washington, because they need to get it done. Haskins, hey, put the singles back in your pocket, okay? Sit at home. Relax. Because you're probably going to have to start this game. And guess what? It's probably going to be one of your last games in DC, okay?
Maybe the NFL.
I think the biggest thing, they were talking about it on Get Up this morning. I think he needs to get out of the area he grew up. He has too many connections to get into places, too many people. Honestly, probably trying to mooch off them, because you always hear stories about that, right? The childhood
Yep.
friends come out of nowhere. And I hope that's not the problem. Listen, I'm an Ohio State fan. I like Haskins. So I'm mad and upset it didn't work out, especially wasting a 16th round pick where we
16th
can
overall.
utilize it so many other places. Alex Smith's not going to be ready, it sounds like. So Haskins, guess what? This could be your huge tryout for another team to actually want to take you. It honestly will. Keep your nose clean for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, okay? And just get the job done. Hopefully Gibson's back here, can help him out. Carolina, again, I like Carolina. I've always been a Teddy B fan. Christian McCaffrey, is he back this week? I'm going to say, I don't know, because I feel like this season's been a wash. Do they just rest him? Do they give him a couple reps?
They
I don't
should.
know.
They should.
So I'm going to say Washington, just because they need to win, and then it sets up a nice game in Philly at the end of the year. So I'm going to go Washington.
I have Carolina winning the game because I don't trust Haskins at all.
It's tough, man.
He hasn't made a great decision since he's been drafted. I mean, remember he was complaining how the Giants passed on him, and he goes to 16. Remember the draft night? He looked pissed, dude. You're still a top 16 pick.
Yeah, I hate when it's our first round picks get pissed. Hey, I could have told you this. Lamar could have been a lot more pissed than he was. Guess what he did?
Exactly.
Yeah,
of all people, Lamar should have been pissed off because look what he's done. And you know what? At the end of the day, you're in the NFL and you're still a top 30-something pick. Stop it.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was a 3rd round pick. He's going to be a first ballot.
Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a little bit of an outlier because I don't know how many Hall of Famers have been a 6th round pick. But regardless, Haskins, stop doing that. Carolina, who knows? Seriously, this game is going to be a crapshoot, even with Haskins playing. I don't know what Carolina is playing for. I don't know if McCaffrey plays. I don't think he should. But you know what? You never know. I have Carolina, but I would not gamble on this game. I would stay away.
Yeah. All right. 3 more games left here. Philly at Dallas. I think the Hurts train is going to keep rolling. I really do. We'll see how it goes. Hurts is the guy. I don't think you can say he's not the guy. And I think Dallas, again, I just don't think they're consistent enough. They are playing a lot better, and I think they're going to be very good next year. But it's not next year. It's right now. I'm going to ride Philly out just because I like Hurts.
Yeah, this is a crapshoot too. Dallas, Tony Pollard, really good. I think Zeke might be done. His days are done. Weird year for Zeke. I've been saying that all along. He's still somehow a top 10 fantasy running back. I don't know how. I mean, I guess fantasy running backs this year weren't that great, but Zeke, weird year, hasn't looked good. Dallas, weird year. They look good sometimes. They look terrible. They look like the worst team ever. I don't know what you're going to get. Philadelphia, also a weird team. They have 4 wins. They look way better than a 4-win team. I really don't know what's going to happen. Hurts looked great. They still lost last week, you know. I know they play the Cardinals, but it's not like the Cardinals are like the best team ever. They're kind of mediocre at best. I don't know. I have Philly circled on my notes section, but I'm not confident there. I definitely wouldn't bet on this one either. And it's a division game, and you know how the 2 teams hate each other. So, you know what? I'm going Philly, but I don't know. It could go either way.
All right. Next, Rams at Seattle. I thought Washington played, and again, I had to fall on the game cast. Washington didn't play a great game last week, and they kept it very close, 20-15 game against Seattle. Rams lost to the Jets. So here's the thing. The Rams always play down to their competition. Okay. Seattle is just kind of treading water here, man.
Yeah,
So I'm actually going to say bounce back game. They want to make a statement and say, hey, look, I want to show that, hey, we're going in the playoffs. We got 2 games left. Let's get our stuff together and let's get back in the groove of things. I'm going to go Rams over Seattle here.
I think the Rams and Seahawks are playing like the Pac-12. Bad football. Seahawks haven't looked good really since Russell Wilson made his stupid ass comments. I don't know. Metcalf, what the hell? He barely got the ball last week. I don't know what they're doing. I know Washington's got a fairly good defense, but come on, you have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson, Russell Wilson,
and Washington
should be able to throw the ball.
Washington's secondary ain't great. It's only been doing well because of the pressure their D-line's
been. Well, and I know that the Seahawks have probably the worst offensive line in football other than Cincinnati. They probably have Seahawks probably have the 31st worst.
If you don't have Russell Wilson back there, it's a completely different story of a season.
No, I don't trust either of these teams in the playoffs. I think it's fool's gold. It's Pac-12 football. I'm not a big West Coast. I'm an East Coast guy, as you can tell. I hate the freaking West. Screw them. Rams, I don't know. Jared Goff, is he the guy?
Yes.
He's about as average as they come, I think, in the NFL. I don't think he's anything special. I think the system makes the Rams win a few games, but yeah, Aaron Donald's probably the best player in the NFL. I can admit that. But guess what? There's 11 starters on defense, 11 starters on offense. One guy can't really change the outcome of games. So guess who can, though? A quarterback. And Jared Goff, I don't think he's going to win you games. I don't think he loses games, but I don't think he's anything special. I have the Seahawks winning again this game. Would not bet on it. Yeah. I have no idea.
All right, last one. I think this could be the best game of the week here.
That's what I have.
Tennessee at Green Bay. Usually, you go into Lambeau this time of year. It's like, all right, this is Green Bay's type of. But I think the Titans can go in with their style of play and win in any type of weather type game. It could be pouring rain. It could be hailing. It could be snowing. When you have the big fella back there, it always makes up for that, right? If you have a power running game, that wins you games late in bad throwing weather type games. Tannehill is a vet. He's played in all these type of games. A.J. Brown, all these guys have been looking really well for Tennessee. Green Bay's been playing really well. Aaron Rodgers, possibly the MVP here. Him and Mahomes going back and forth here. I'm going to take Tennessee because I want to see them win a big game before the playoffs. If they lose this game, I'm saying, all right, they're not doing anything in the playoffs. They win this game, it's like they have the playoff type team here, type team. So we'll see. I'm taking Tennessee.
The problem with the Titans, their defense is not that good. Logan Ryan, he was huge for them last year. He's huge for the Giants this year. I think they're really missing Logan Ryan this year. I have the Packers circled. I believe this will be the game of the week, possibly one of the best games of the year. I am very high on Tennessee. I'm very high on Derrick Henry. Shoot, Ryan Tannehill. What a week last week. Derrick Henry. Now remember, the Packers rush defense, not the best. I'm pretty sure Dalvin Cook, the game that the Vikings beat, it was that game. The game the Vikings beat the Packers, Dalvin Cook had 51 fantasy points. He had 200 yards rushing and like a 50-yard receiving touchdown. Derrick Henry will eat. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. Guess what? Green Bay's weather, that gets neutralized when you run the ball, right? What do you think Tennessee's going to do? They are going to run all over Green Bay. Great game. I have the Packers, but I think it's going to be, 31-28, Aaron Rodgers vintage last-second touchdown to Devontae Adams. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I really am.
And I think, like you said, Tennessee's defense has struggled, but their best defense has been their offense. Getting
Yeah,
long drives, staying in
exactly.
bounds, not having big incompletions, holding on to the ball. That's been helping out their poor defense. So
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, everybody. That is it for our Week 16
Oh,
NFL picks. We are going to do the college football picks in the episode, and they're not going to really be picks. We're just going to talk about the games and kind of decide who we think is going to win the first round. We'll save the championship picks for the following week or when it is that week. And yeah, so make sure you watch episode 5 of Recliner Sports Talk. I'm Nick,
I'm
Brandon, and
Brandon.
yep, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
See you.